Excellent connection. Come on. Come on, see the damn static image, please. There we go. Okay, it's 7:56. I'm cool with that.
And now, coming to you live from an undisclosed location somewhere in the Ozark Mountains, it's Spooky Talk Show with Josh the Devil. And now, here he is, Josh the Devil.
Okay, well, no, why does it do that every time? Damn it. Okay, that's it. I know I'm pushing the right buttons now, but apparently when you mash like 4 buttons at a time on the Stream Deck, it does some weird shit, Wyatt. Because it keeps trying to play It keeps trying to go to like the 2-shot of that, and there's nobody there. So what are you gonna do? I don't know. Hey, I'm Josh the Devil. Welcome to Spooky Talk Show. That's Wyatt there. Let me see if I can adjust you a little bit there, Wyatt. Let's see if I can. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
There. Wait, hang on.
Talk back. Why am I asking the camera? That makes no sense.
Are you coming out of the speaker? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. I don't know what's going on, you guys. I'm sorry. I did get my teeth fixed though. Like, hey, no more chunk chip teeth. So I'm gonna push the applause button. Yeah, because, my band, The Sinners, we're going to go into the studio and cut some of the old cover songs that we used to just destroy. By destroy, I mean like we rip them apart and poop on them a lot of times. So, I didn't want to go into the studio with kind of a... What's that?
I'm looking forward to the poops you make. Oh, you do good poops.
Well,
New poops from you guys.
Well, hey, listen. Best poop I remember was that time in VR when you and I flew over some Burger King patrons and pooped on their heads and got immediately thrown out in that room. Those were the good old days.
Control and then be forced to leave a place. That's kind of my new MO. I appreciate that myself.
Well, I don't want to go get kicked out of a real Burger King right now. That seems dangerous. But virtual Burger King, that sounds all right. I can do that. Sounds okay.
Are Burger Kings even open? I know the McDonald's you can go inside. I don't know if they even let you set foot in a Burger King these days.
I don't know. If McDonald's is doing it, then Burger King's doing it.
Stay
I mean,
away from both of them. Poop somewhere else. Poop outside. That's probably better.
poop outside. Friendly advice from your pal Wyatt. Oh man. All right. You doing all right? You still surviving there in your little apartment there? You know?
I'm fine. The cat's fine. Everyone here, both of us seem to be doing well. I don't have the tickle. I can still smell. My poops are solid. Getting back to poops, and so I think I'm surviving the pandemic so far. How are you doing?
Well, I'm not gonna get into my poops, but I'm all right. I'm doing okay.
That's a big part of it. You don't want the diarrhea.
Oh, yay! No question there.
Diarrhea, they say.
Yeah. Ugh, no. Oh.
Watch out for the watery stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want that.
How did this show devolve into just diarrhea jokes? We're 3 minutes in. We're 3 minutes in, and it's just diarrhea.
Wasn't that kind of always the MO though? Just a little bit.
No, it was more dick jokes. It was more dick jokes than poop jokes. We've gone from dick to poop, I guess. I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Let's keep it low. As long as you keep it low, I'm happy.
All right. Try not to make a tight butthole joke here, but it's hard. It's hard, guys. It really is. It's hard not to. Okay. I'm not going to. All right. We got a good show tonight. We are joined by Casey Orr. Now, Casey is the he rounded it up for me. I believe he was the 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th and current bass player of GWAR, which is very odd, but that's what it is. And he was one of the founding members of Rigor Mortis, and he played in X-Cops and Hellions, and he has got some amazing stories. I've got about 2 hours extra of our interview where I'm just bullshitting with him, and it's just amazing stories. I wish I'd had time to cut the green Jello story and put that in here because it's a doozy. But it didn't make the final cut. The interview's long enough, so if you're a Patreon member, well, then you'll get a special access, and you'll get another 20 minutes of bonus content from Casey. So if you like what you see tonight, you can always get more. Go to patreon.com/spookytalkshow, I'm sure. You can also check out our Teespring site if you'd like to and pick out a Spooky Talk Show mug that doesn't look like this. It's a Spooky Talk Show on it. I should probably have one of those. We got T-shirts, and now we even got face masks. How about that, Wyatt? Spooky Talk Show face masks.
Nice. We should become Patreon members just so we can get the free stuff.
We should. Wait. I mean, I can just send you
How
a...
does one do that?
Well, you go to patreon.com/spookytalkshow and you can just give us $1 a month, more if you like, but $1 a month is all it takes, and you'll get some special stuff. We're trying to get just a couple more subscribers, or patrons rather, and then once we do that, we're going to launch a special monthly stream that is specifically for you guys, and obviously you'll have all kinds of bonus content. I'm trying to take more behind the scenes footage and photos and things like that, and you always will get the heads up on who our special guest is if you become one of our patrons. That's right. And if you become one of our patrons and you know who it is in advance, like if you had known a few days ago that we had Casey Orr, then you could have suggested a question, or maybe you had a specific question that you wanted to ask Casey Orr. Well, we could have made that happen, but you weren't a patron member, so what are you going to do? Maybe you can join and then next time. So there we go. I'm going to quit babbling because I babble too much, and we're going to jump over to some monologue jokes, because that is what we pay our top quality head writer Paul Hodge for. So I'm going to push this button right here. Well, hey, that looks a lot better for you, Wyatt. We could have just chatted like this the whole time, I guess.
Why weren't we chatting like this? I look beautiful. It's really nice.
I'm dumb.
I need to get a haircut though for the people.
You do need. I got myself a nice haircut. I'm one of the. I don't have a whole lot of haircut, so it's not that bad. But and it looks awful because I've been wearing a hat on it. But as you can see, there's clearly no wings, and that's the sign of a Josh haircut. Because if I don't have a haircut, I got wings, Hauser. I got Paul McCartney wings. I've got all the wings. So.
I get the, man. I feel you.
I mean, if you're not jumping on Patreon right now after that Wings Hauser joke, I just don't know what you people want. All right, let's get to some. We're gonna get to some jokes. Oh my gosh! All right, I'm gonna move you, Wyatt. I'm gonna say what? Okay. All right, you go down. You go. All right. Whoa, hang on. Did I just lose you? I think did I just disconnect Wyatt? Oh crap! No, hang on.
No, I'm here.
Okay, I can still hear. Okay. Now all I see is me. Now all I see is the. Okay, hold on. Well, I've done it now, folks. Now I've broken everything. There's okay. Oh. It's not Spooky Talk Show without a couple of little train wrecks there in the middle. Just a couple. Hey, Josh, what in the hell's that picture about that's been sitting there? Well, I'll tell you since you asked nicely. Hundreds attended a church in Germany Saturday to witness a chord change for an organ piece that is supposed to last 639 years. Now, it is the first chord change in the last 6 years and 11 months for the piece. This makes the piece more monotonous than most modern rap, hard rock, and pop country songs. Bump. I don't know. I don't understand the audience for pop country. I could spend a whole episode just talking about how I don't understand pop country and challenge anyone to point to any aspect of it and show me that I can say, yes, that's country. I see the pop. I don't see the country. I'm not going to talk to that. What country is pop country from? It's not. An Australian. Now I can't even read anymore. An Austrian man broke his own record by spending 2.5 hours in a box filled with ice cubes Saturday. No word on if he watched Netflix while he chilled. All right, that's fine. Okay. Speaking of diarrhea, Taco Bell sent social media into a frenzy last week when it announced it was removing Mexican pizza and other items from its menu. Now, if you're drunk enough to eat at Taco Bell, doesn't all the food taste the same anyway? You know what, Paul? Fuck you. No, it doesn't. All tastes different. It all has a unique flavor. It's its own thing. And if you remove one, it's like you're destroying the rainforest. It's a delicate ecosystem of potatoes and beef and nacho cheese. Singer Loretta Lynn and Kid Rock jokingly got married over the weekend. This is huge news because, amazingly, Loretta Lynn is still alive. I agree with the booze. I like Loretta Lynn. Didn't she do Wyatt? Didn't Loretta Lynn do a duet with Mike Dowdy?
Oh wow, man! Yeah, that was on that was like an album or 3 ago.
Still a good song.
That's
See, she's still viable. Fuck you. All right. I don't know. What is this show? New York Governor Andrew Cuomo responded to President Trump's threats to cut federal funding to New York City, said that President Trump better have an army if he wants to walk down the streets of New York. Well, he's commander-in-chief of the U.S. military. He has an army and a navy and an air force and a space force.
And Marines. Don't forget the Marines.
And the Marines. That wasn't on my list.
Okay.
All right. Memphis police have arrested a man for calling 911 to ask if they wanted to buy egg rolls. Please, someone give this guy my number. I want to talk to this guy. Please call Spooky Talk Show. SpookyTalkShow@gmail.com. We'd love to talk to you, egg rolls salesman. We like your style. Oh, Jesus Christ. Aside from Hacksaw Jim Duggan, that's all I got. So, no, this one. Oh, Wyatt, let me put you back up here. I'm going to have to build you I got to build you a robot body, Wyatt. A little radio-controlled robot body that you can roll around the desk on. I think that's going to be the best thing for everybody. All right, we're going to get into this interview because I don't even know what's happening anymore. Maybe you could tell, maybe you couldn't tell that I found all the photos and read those jokes about 30 seconds before we went live tonight. And then Wyatt fell over. Wyatt's drunk. He's falling over.
Oh God.
Sadly, it was about as good as it ever is. I don't know what that means. But, I'm gonna push the bump. And okay, so ladies and gentlemen, without any more ados to be furthered, we were fortunate enough to have he's a regional musician Casey Orr join us, and there was no fake blood. Spoilers, no fake blood. So you can take your parkas off. You can take your little rain gear off, guys. I know the GWAR fans are already sitting there with the raincoats on. That's all right. There's no fake blood. But lots of stories and fun stuff. And, of course, we had to talk about Mike Scaccia. Now, I was fortunate enough to meet Mike Scaccia, the legendary guitar player of Rigor Mortis and then Ministry, when he came to our Little Rock Guitar Center. And he was awesome, super nice guy. And he told us amazing stories about being with Uncle Al in the studio recording like the Psalm 69 album. And he was super cool to everybody that came to Guitar Center for his thing. And he taught a little masterclass on the Gibson robot guitar. And I know you're going, I was like, robot guitar? Yeah, Gibson has a robot guitar. Go look it up. It's fucking weird. We just break strings automatically for us. I don't know, but that dude could play it like a motherfucker. So I'm going to shut up, and we're going to go live to Casey Orr by pushing this button. Oh, damn it, I didn't put the button on my button holder again. All right, well, then we're going to go to him with this click. Man. Casey, you're there. Can you hear me okay?
I'm here, and I hear you just fine.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here in the Spooky Talk Show. Was glad to meet you back in the day. We ran across paths back in Texarkana at a Comic-Con. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, here's an interesting guy. And you were like, oh, Motorhead. And I was like, hell yeah, Motorhead. And,
this is how we met. I saw this on his table, and I was like, whoa, dude.
And then you walk away and go set up your booth. You're a busy guy. You had a booth there with your art. And then so I'm like, I tell my partner there at the table, I'm going to go walk around a little bit. So I go walk around. And then I see your booth and I'm like, oh, that wasn't just some guy stopping by to go, fuck yeah, Motorhead. That was Beefcake. Beefcake just stopped by the booth and said.
It was just some guy.
It was just, no, come on now. So for those of you guys who don't know, Casey has been off and on and is currently still filling the shoes of Beefcake the Mighty. And if you're going, well, yeah, but Gore's not playing any shows. Hey, hold on. We'll get to that. There's stuff going on, so just hold your horses. Now, you are there. We can see some of your art behind you there. Like I said, I met you at your booth there, and of course, I picked up the lovely Don Nazi over here over my shoulder, which was a little bit of a controversy.
Nip them in the bud. You got to nip them in the bud. Remember, nip them.
Yes, sir.
Nip every
Andy.
Nazi in the bud.
And it caused a little bit of stir on Spooky Talk Show when we hung that. We had a big wide-watched episode, and then we had somebody make a comment. I guess he just didn't get the joke. And you know what? If you didn't get that joke, you're not going to get any of the jokes on Spooky Talk Show, so just move along, buddy. We don't need you here. Now, you have got an impressive lineup of bands that people have heard of under your belt. Now, you've still got, now we'll start, let's go back. Let's go way back. We'll jump in our Wayback Machine, and we're going to jump back into was it the late 80s or early 90s? How far back are we setting it? Was it
I would
that,
say
mid-80s?
actually 83 was the very beginning.
Wow. 83, you and Hardin Harrison, who you guys were high school buddies, right? Is that right?
Yep.
And you guys met
Actually, we met in junior high.
Oh, junior high. Oh, so it goes way back. So you guys had a thing going by that point. You guys met.
Well, we were the only like long hairs wearing spikes, so we kind of like saw each other in the hall and was like, "Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?"
Now this is
Let's
Texas,
start a band.
right? This is Central
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, Arlington.
Yeah. Okay. So not a lot of punk rockers in the early '80s in Arlington. I'm gonna guess.
Not that we knew of. They were all pretty underground, or they were more in the Dallas area.
Gotcha.
Fort Worth was rock and roll, man. Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top and rock and roll, big arena rock and roll shows. And then heavy metal. And Dallas was a little bit more eclectic, and new wave and punk was happening more there than in Fort Worth. So it's always been, like two different things going on, but they kind of merge in the middle. And and so we started out, just totally metal, Priest and Motorhead and Black Sabbath and all the hard rock, that our older brothers had listened to. And then we started discovering, the new wave of British heavy metal stuff, and that just, was life-changing for all of us. And then, Metallica and Slayer, started coming out, and maybe the beginning days of Megadeth, right when we started. They had each one of them had like their first album out, and then when we started, and we didn't want to be like anyone else, and we weren't really, we weren't satanic, we weren't going to dress up, we weren't all this shit, and our guitar player was just the fastest guitar player without just, humming on one note that I'd ever seen. And so we just decided, well, we're just going to be faster than everybody else.
I love that.
And it wasn't really like a conscious, we're going to be faster. It was just trying to keep up with him. We became faster than everybody else.
Wow. Now we're talking, of course, about the legendary Mike Scotcha.
Yeah, Mike Scotcha, man. Me and Hardin were looking for a guitar player, and a buddy of ours that Hardin had been actually in a band with. Hardin was still in high school, and he was playing in a band called Eruption. And they were playing clubs. Hardin had to have a note from his mother so he could be in these clubs.
Yes, I
and
love that.
it was. And then I was just sneaking right in the front door and seeing Hardin play anyway. But we were looking for a guitar player, and this guy that was in Eruption, this after they had broken up, which he kept trying to hook up with us and do something. We didn't want to start a band with him, and eventually he told us about this guy he knew, and he goes, I got to get you guys together. And he goes, I won't even bring my guitar. I won't even play. So we got together with this guy, and within 5 minutes, we're just like looking at each other like, this is, look no further. We found a band. And that was that. We went several years just as a three-piece, mostly instrumental. And then I think late 85, early 86, Bruce Corbett officially joined as our singer. And we did a demo. And then by the end of 87, we had recorded our first album, and then 88 we released it.
And I mean,
or something like that.
Yeah, that you say it so nonchalant, but that first Rigor Mortis album, that was no just I mean, for you guys, it may have just been like, okay, we record an album, release it. But you guys, if you don't have it, if you've never heard it, if you don't know what we're talking about, go find it right now. Well, not right now. You know, wait till the show's over and then go find it, because that is an album, my friends. That is something to listen to. Put on your headphones. I was going to say get in your car, but don't drive over pedestrians is a good rule of thumb. So maybe just headphones at home.
I've actually had more than a couple of people tell me that they have literally wrecked their cars listening to Rigor Mortis.
Yes, that was my exact fear. That does not surprise me in the least. I mean, if you took a tally, I'd say, you know, there's a few bands that are on that list that I try not to listen to. They make you want to go fast and ignore things.
Right.
3 Inches of Blood does that. I put that in the car and I will be up on the
sidewalk.
sidewalk.
No lullabies on that album.
Yeah. So now we've got the full lineup. We've got the first album is out, and you guys seem to just kind of fit the bill locally for the opening slot for, I don't know, every great band around. Can you give us a rundown of who you guys got to play with, who was cool, who wasn't, who was there somebody that was a dick?
We the first like really big bill we got on, Bruce, our singer, and Mike Scascia saw a flyer for Megadeth with a band called an Austin band, Scratch Acid.
Okay.
And they're both like, who the fuck is Scratch Acid? We should be on this bill. And the show was at the Longhorn Ballroom, which was that famous big honky tonk that Sex Pistols played.
Yeah.
And so
that's the one where Sid hit the guy with his bass. Yeah.
So they went to the booking agent at the Longhorn, and he was that kind of young, scruffy, punk dude named Jeff Lyles. And they kind of went in and demanded, you should put us on this bill. You need to hear our band. You need to hear this tape, and you need to put us on the bill. Fuck that other band. We don't even know who they are. They're not from here. And so Jeff's like, yeah, okay, all right. I got shit to do. You guys got to go. All right, I promise. I'll listen to the tape, whatever.
But
I can't make any promises. And Jeff put on the tape and had never heard anything like it. And he called him immediately and was like, "You're on the bill." He goes, "I don't know who you guys are, but this shit, there's nothing else like it." So he put us on the bill, and then he gave Scratch Acid the Motorhead show. When I found that out later on, I was like, "Fuck Megadeth, man, Motorhead." No offense, Megadeth.
No. But I mean, if you had to choose, I don't know anybody who would go the Megadeth route. But
anyway, so Megadeth were apparently still on smack when we did the show. And we were like green as grass, trying to be hey man, and they were dicks. That night. I mean, I've hung out with Dave Ellison many times, and he's cool as shit. And we did some shows and GWAR did some shows in Australia with Megadeth, and everybody was cool, But that day there was a bunch of shit, and their security guys and the club security guys were fucking with our friends who were videotaping. And you got to remember, our crowd was like our crew. They were at every show, right, and they basically just did what they wanted to do, and they weren't fucking with people. But I mean, if Al was going to film, he's going to film, and this is a Rigor Mortis show until Megadeth gets on stage. Fuck off, So there was a whole bunch of shit. I think we threatened to push the bus into the ravine it was parked next to. And, I mean, nothing happened, but we played the show, and
Jesus, the balls
so
to just burst in and go, our band is better, put us on the bill with Megadeth.
Well, we were too stupid to know otherwise.
And you
were. And it worked. And that always worked to our favor. Just by being stupid cavemen, bulls in China shop, people thought we were dangerous. And I guess sometimes we were, because we were really stupid and young and drunk and violent. And people were terrified of it. I mean, people still around here, and I know people that are, friends of mine and stuff, but they still see me as this guy that just would wholesale slaughter groups of people. I walk into a door with, a sword and an axe, just, hey, you got any, black socks for sale here, So this reputation built, about around the whole band, and it's still to this day, there's the remnants of that. People will tell stories about Rigor Mortis, and it's totally embellished to the point where I'm listening to it laughing, it's kind of cool.
I know the stories you're talking about. The only other band I can think of that had that kind of reputation where people were honestly scared of them was Flipper. I've heard so many stories about people going, those guys were amazing, but they're too intense for me. I got to be over here. Like Henry Rollins is like, those guys are cool, but they're too much for me. And like Rigor Mortis always seemed like one of those bands where it was like, we'll watch them from afar because we don't want to get, stabbed.
Well, and even GWAR, people like, they were banned from London because there was a report that they were actually slaughtering animals on stage, and they actually did human sacrifices and all this shit. It's just like, you really thought that. You really thought this band that's touring and going from town to town playing a show is actually murdering people on stage, and but they were banned from London. And of course, and this is before I joined the band, but of course to GWAR, that was a feather in the cap. That was like, dude, we're banned from London because they think,
Yeah.
So, that kind of, it's like Ozzy said, as long as they spell your name right, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Same kind of thing. When you think about Ozzy, you think about pissing on the Alamo, getting banned. You guys didn't even have to do the thing they thought you did.
Exactly.
So, you did it without even trying. You were like, okay. We walked right into that.
But it was crazy. I mean, like I said, we were just young and we were stupid and full of energy and terrifying people. And the more people were terrified, the more we would play it up, and we got away. I mean, we got away with so much shit. I mean, I still, I'll talk to Harden sometimes, and we'll just stop in the middle of a conversation and look at each other and like, I can't believe we're alive. How did we live? How did somebody not kill us, or just a dumb, or kill ourselves accidentally, or, but Rigor Mortis was a cool thing. I mean, it was to me, it's almost like it was my childhood, I mean,
sure.
It was my late teenage years and early 20s, but I mean, you kind of, a lot of musicians, I live in a state of arrested development, I'm 55 now, and I feel like I'm just barely getting out of my 20s mentally.
Oh, I have 12-year-olds in my house, and I relate to them more than most of the people I know. So
my 20 or 19-year-old is the voice of reason when he's around. It's just like that. Yeah. He has appreciation for what I do. He knows what I do. Thinks it's cool. He's it's not the path he wants to take or anything. He thinks it's cool. He'll come to a show. And he'll get the set list first, so he makes sure he knows ahead of time what all the lyrics are to all the songs. So he does his research and stuff. But he's not like, guy. Telling all his friends, my dad's in GWAR. And he doesn't care, So,
well, my kids thought it was cool for sure, because normally I mention somebody, I'm like, oh, we've got so-and-so from someone, and they're like, who? And I was like, and I'll have to think, and I'm like, you remember that movie, so-and-so? He was the bass player in a band that was on the soundtrack, and they're like, you lost me, dude, you lost
Whatever,
me.
old man.
Yeah, they're like, call me back when the Gorillas are playing your show, and it's like,
right. What's funny is a few years ago, I would try to get my son interested in cool music, right? Yeah. And I quickly realized that's not the way to do it. No. He doesn't want to hear anything that I'm going to try to push on him.
Yeah, you got to let them find it.
Yeah. So on Spotify, he had found a list of a guy that I knew, and it was just like 1,000 punk songs. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It was just all across the board, but it was mostly 80s, 90s skate punk kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then one day I saw this set list, and I looked at it or a playlist, and I looked at it, and I mean, it was like every cool thing I would have, tried to turn him on to. Yeah. Everything from, Black Sabbath to Descendants to Iggy Pop, Elvis Costello, B-52s, all kind. I mean, just up and down punk rock, metal, hard rock, all over the place.
Cherry-picked every genre.
And I'm like, man, that's cool. I wonder where we found this list. And so I asked him, I go, where'd you find this playlist? And he goes, oh, those are just some songs I've run across that I like. I mean,
That's
I just,
his.
you know, tear ran down my cheek. I was like, I don't have to do anything. These kids got great taste.
That's a proud dad moment right there.
Yeah, you know, he's turned me on to a couple bands like Radkey. He turned me on to Radkey because it was some band that he ran across, and you know, they're a great band. These three brothers, and they have kind of a sort of a Misfits, Thin Lizzy kind of thing, if you can imagine that.
Okay, I mean, I like both of them. I like the Misfits, I like Thin Lizzy. So
three young dudes, man, they kick ass.
Man, honestly, I could spend a whole show just talking about Rigor Mortis stories, but we'll wait on that. We'll wait on that next time. Now, you know, the list goes on. Speedealer, Burden Brothers, which I kicked myself for missing a Burden Brothers show that was at Sticky's years ago.
We used to play Juanitas too.
I think I was working or something, and it was like I was like, if I'd put in a little more effort, I could have made it. I kicked myself for not.
Yeah.
But we've, you know, I want to touch on the stuff that you've got active that people can go check out. So you mentioned that there's some ex-cops news that people might be interested in.
Well, not really news. There's just some radio chatter.
Oh,
that
okay.
You know, you may be seeing some ex-cop stuff. They there's a new little ex-cops clip in the last GWAR YouTube, the Undead from Antarctica show, which is GWAR's new monthly like hour-long show. It's got, you know, interviews with people. This one ran a couple of weeks ago. Pustulous interviews Lizzie Hale. Oh. And then there's a ex-cops thing, and there's, you know, a bunch of different character things and some videos and this and that. And it's really cool. They were putting together Live Undead, which was going to be a live weekly show, and just the logistics of it weren't working out. They had a couple of them that were pretty cool, but just, you know how it is with Zoom and this and that. You know, it was just so many technical problems that they decided to go to this other format. And I think it was a great move because you can go on YouTube and watch the Undead from Antarctica episode. And it's really cool, and that'll give you a taste of what's going to be coming. Every week there's still a Live Undead episode that's like 30 minutes, and it's mostly, you know, some reading emails and, you know, a couple little clips here and there and stuff. So awesome. That's going on there. But Ex-Cops is you know, there's some talk, there's some radio chatter, you know, over the shortwave that there may be. You know, if nothing else, there might be some video episodes featuring the Ex-Cops.
Oh, okay.
Who knows? Now, I've been after them since the last time Ex-Cops was doing anything. Why aren't we doing Ex-Cops? And it's just been one thing after another. We did a reunion at Barbecue several years ago. Yeah. It was phenomenal. We got off stage and looked at each other like, why aren't we doing this?
Why don't we do this all the time?
Dave Brocky was like, we have to do another album, which means we're going to have to tour. And I'm like, been waiting on you guys. And then, of course, you know, a couple years later, Dave Brocky passed away. And so that didn't happen. But there's still talk, you know, of doing some stuff with Ex-Cops. I would love to. I think it was a lot of fun. It was hilarious. I don't know how we pulled it off. And, you know, when we first toured opening up for GWAR.
Yeah, now for those people who don't know, was it all members of GWAR in Ex-Cops, or were there some people from other bands?
The drummer from Ex-Cops was actually Mike Dunn, he was a friend of ours. He was in a band with Pete Lee, who was Sergeant Al DePantia, and was also Flatus Maximus in GWAR at the time.
Okay.
He was a drummer in his band back here in Texas years before that. And me and Mike Scascia did an album under the band name Blowhole, and Mike Dunn played drums on that. Phenomenal drummer, just a young machine, just awesome kid. But he played in a band called Sedition. I don't know if you remember those guys from Dallas. So he played drums, and GWAR's drummer was just one of the onstage characters. Singer for GWAR played bass player for GWAR, me sang. two guitar players play guitar.
Yeah, and then you guys you could kind of open for yourselves, which is great because then you kind of control the opening band to some degree.
Well, and the great thing was that we hadn't put an album out yet. Yeah. Nobody knew it was us. We came out as a bunch of cops telling people, you know, line up against the wall and shit, and they're spitting at us, throwing beer at us, and we start playing, and you know, the music was kick-ass, so they're getting into it, but they still have this look on their face.
Like, very confusing.
They're flipping us off.
Yeah.
And then you'll see somebody that'll like,
wait a minute.
That's Rocky or that.
Yeah,
and so you get, you know, by the end of the set, you had at least half of the audience had figured it out, and we're totally into it, and the other half were looking around like, what am I not getting?
Yeah.
And then we're gone. And then you come back as GWAR, and the same guys who were spitting at you are just throwing themselves at you. Please, spit blood on us. And you bet we did.
Hey, yeah, you did.
But that was one of the coolest things about it was just nobody knew who it was or what it was or why it was.
I love that concept. I've only seen that one other time. I don't know if you guys are aware. Devo actually did that at a couple of shows. They went way more extreme. They wore lounge suits. And were basically like a lounge band and did kind of loungy versions of their songs, and everybody just hated them. But that was kind of the point. You guys, that's funny because you're confused. You're like, I want to hate this band, but that's a fucking good song. And then you start to realize, and Devo, I don't know that anyone caught on to the jokes, so they just played. Everyone hated them. And then they walked off stage and Devo came out, which
that's so great. I would give anything to see that show, man.
It's available. I've seen clips of it in one of the Devo documentaries, The History of Devo Evolution. I believe it's in there.
Oh man,
those guys were way ahead of their time.
They're
still
ahead of their time, man. They still
are. Mark Mothersbaugh. I think they just announced that he's got COVID, and so I think he's okay. He's gone through it.
Recovering from it. But,
and I mean, if we lose him, then we've lost Devo. We've lost Bob, and Bob too. So if we lose.
Well, from the first thing I saw about it was him basically saying that they went through this and they're better now and blah blah. And then right after that, I started seeing all the reports a couple days later that he's got COVID. So I think. So I think he didn't say anything about it until he was on the mend, and then people are kind of coming late to the party. I hope he's okay. I hope
that's good. Yeah, we can't lose. I can't lose Mark Mothersbaugh. We lost one of the great bassists earlier. We lost Adam Schlesinger. We lost Adam Schlesinger, one of the great bass players and songwriters. I can't. We can't lose it. We can't lose another one. Man, let's talk. We talked about the GWAR show. We've talked about X-Cops. Now, let's talk about Hellions, because Hellions is a little more up my kind of standard speed. I'm more of a punk rock guy. I know it's hard to tell, but that's more my taste. I named my kids after punk rock singers, so it's there. So man, let's talk Hellions. Give us are you guys going to take advantage of this time and do some stuff? Give us the rundown.
Well, everybody's kind of off doing other things. Most of us are kind of hunkered down and not doing shit. I've have an agreement with family and kids and stuff. We have a bubble of people that we deal with. And,
likewise.
Maybe it's all a hoax or whatever, but, I listen to scientists more than I listen to fucking idiots.
Yes. Science.
And I'm a hermit anyway, so I could do this forever. I miss going and grabbing a beer every now and then, but it's not. I miss touring and I miss working with a band and I miss making money working my side gig or whatever. But this isn't that big of a deal. I've actually. Surprisingly, my art stuff has picked up, and I've been able to make ends meet through this whole thing without having to get work or anything else. So, as far as us all getting together, like I say, everybody's got other things going on, so that's not, really something we do a lot anyway. Hellions is kind of this band that a local promoter will call us and say, GBH or Subhumans or somebody's coming through town, we want you guys to open because we're older and they know, and then we know all the punk club owners and booking agents and stuff. So when there's, a cool show that's sort of one of the older, cool punk bands, they think of us because it's a good fit and we always have a great time and fit really well with the other bands. So, once a year, once every 2 years, pull it out of our asses, rehearse once or twice and do a show. But we haven't been able to do anything lately. Our singer's now singing for band Protest.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're fucking kick-ass, man. They just put out a new single and video. The video's pretty cool, man. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head because I'm an idiot. But and then the guitar players are they're writing songs and they have another band that they're doing, and we keep talking about getting together and stuff. But I'm just kind of at a point where I'm so busy with all this other stuff that I don't want to commit to another thing where I have to, compartmentalize my time and, deal with other people and stuff right now. I would love to do it. And if things were different with, the virus bullshit, I'd probably, jump right in on it. But right now I'm just like, it's a lot of work on top of a lot of things that I'm already doing, plus, sort of agreeing to kind of stay in the bubble, while things are going, and I've got this GWAR thing coming up. So, I'm not gonna jeopardize that for anybody.
Yeah.
So right now we're not doing anything and there's no gigs to be played anyway.
Sure.
So, and the Hellions is this kind of thing. If we ever get our shit together and decide, well, let's record another album, we've got 30 songs we haven't recorded, so it's a no-brainer.
Double album.
But the only album we put out in 1920. I mean,
wait, hang on. Punk
2020.
Band, so that's like a triple album, right? So.
Well, no, we put out the one and only Hellions album in 2000.
2000. So it's been 20 years. Yeah, you get. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
My band's not at that level yet, but we're getting close.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's just one of those like stupid comical things. It's not, we broke up. We never broke up. Everybody started doing other shit. Yeah. And then, hey man, you want to do something? Oh man, I'm out here doing this. Yeah. You want to do something? Oh, I got this thing going on.
But when the show calls, when it's when
a show calls
and
GBH, we're all, and they don't call months ahead of time. They call like 3 weeks ahead of time. You guys all around?
We're
gonna show in 3 weeks. You got it if you want it.
Mark, Leewood, Dirty Sean, those are the guys from my band. If you guys are watching, you know exactly what he's talking about. It doesn't just happen to us. That was the story of the Sinners. Was we'd get a call. There's a club Midtown. Midtown would call us at sometime 12:30 at night and say, "Hey, can you come and start at 1?" Like,
right.
Okay.
Oh man. I got a call like that. I did. The singer for the Hellions is friends with Sammy Town from Fame.
Okay.
Right. So Sam and his wife and kids, and this was many, many years ago, they were traveling from California to Florida to go stay with some family. And they were coming through Dallas, and Dave said, "Man, if you guys are coming through here, you got to do a couple of shows, man. Do a Fang show in Dallas and do one in Austin and you make a few bucks and, you got to do it. You got to do it. The Hellions will open up." So Sam says, "Yeah, okay. Find me a drummer and a bass player and I'll send you a list of songs and you get them to learn all the shit. And then we'll come in a couple of days, me and my guitar player come in a couple of days, before and we'll rehearse and we'll do these 2 shows." So, he tells me about it and gets me the list of songs. I'm like, yeah, okay. A buddy of ours is going to play drums. So, the way I do, I've extensive notes on every song, so just for myself. So I can look at a piece of paper and know how it all goes and figure it out. I can't read music or anything like that, but I can write weirdo notes that no one else could decipher so that I know what I'm doing. So 3 or 4 yellow pad sheets of this stuff, and I go to the first practice. Sam shows up with 2 cases of Coors Light. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. We've never played together. And, he hasn't played these songs in 15 years, right? And the guitar player comes walking up the hallway, and I'm looking at him like, what's this guy? I recognize this guy. this fucking dude from Faith No More, man.
Oh,
this guitar player from Faith No More comes walking up, and I'm just like, okay, come on in. So we start trying to work on these songs, and those two guys hadn't even listened to them in all these years. They couldn't, I don't know, they wrote them, you know, and they, you know. So I pull out my yellow pad and conduct, you know, the rehearsal, and we get through it, and then the next day we get through, you know, a little bit better. And we play these two shows, and the first show was the worst show I've ever been on, had to be on stage for in my life. We were so bad. It was just terrible. It was such a big misfire. Every song was a misfire. It was just horrible. I couldn't wait to get off stage. And then the worst part about it was I knew the next day we were playing what was turning out to be a sold-out show at Emo's in Austin.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this was bad enough. That's going to be twice as bad in front of 10 times as many people. So we go, and Hellions are opening up other shows. We go to Austin. The Hellions play, fucking great. Get on stage, you get ready to play the Fang set, and bam, we fucking killed it. It was insane. So here's this old school Austin punk rock crowd just going ape shit, and everybody's on fire, and I'm standing there going, who are you guys, man? What did you do with the guys from yesterday?
Yeah, where were you guys yesterday?
But the funniest thing about this is 8 years later, maybe, I get a call from Sam, and he goes, hey, man, I'm going to be in Fort Worth tomorrow. We got a Fang show in Fort Worth tomorrow. We need a bass player. It's like 8 years. I mean, I hadn't even, you know, heard maybe one or two.
Did you still have the yellow pad?
I did still have the yellow pad, but I was just like, I can't do that in one day, man. I'm not that good. I could do it. You give me a week, I could do it, but I can't do it tomorrow night.
Can't do it. Okay.
I'm just not.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
My memory banks are clogged with the songs of like 30 different bands I've been in. And you know how bands are. If you played in multiple bands with multiple people, you know, a lot of the songs in the Hellions are very similar in the way they're structured.
Right.
A lot of songs in GWAR have similar structures.
Yeah.
You know, and so when you're trying to like keep all this shit in your head, you know, it's crazy. So I'm one of those guys that I've got to review before I get together and start practicing if we're got a show or something, because I just don't pull shit out of my ass like that.
Well, and you knew firsthand what it was going to sound like if it went bad. You knew exactly what it was going to be like. No question.
But I know he had a steady drummer and guitar player at that point, so I probably could have pulled it off had I had an extra day or two. But I just was like, I can't put myself in that, because I'll be the one that sucks. I'll be the one that won't know that shit.
Everybody will be looking at you, yeah. Yeah, too risky, man. All right, I can dig it. Man, let's talk about all the little things you're doing right now, because everybody is stuck inside. You've got a Patreon where people can find you over there. And kind of get a glimpse into more of your artwork. You can head on over to CaseyOrr.com and you can pick up prints like I did. And I
have a book.
And he's got a book, The Art of Orr. See? Oh man. Ooh.
And it's even got a fold out.
It's got a fold out? Okay.
Of Odorous Urungus.
Well, I'm in. Okay.
I'll send you one, man.
Dude, that'd be rad. Well, then
you're gonna make me cool minis.
I'm gonna make you some tabletop minis, damn straight. Okay. And you might even get like a dice tower or something, or a dice cup or something. Yeah, I may go nuts. All right.
Cool.
But here's another thing that really appeals to me, and so I have to assume it probably appeals to other people. Anyone, and I mean anybody, can jump on Cameo, the app or the website, and they can find you, and they can send a request and say, hey, I would love to have you, Beefcake the Mighty, wish my brother, my friend, my mom, my grandma a happy birthday, or a hey, hang in there, or whatever in the fuck you want them to say.
Kids, you're adopted.
Whatever you want. It's like the good news is, but the bad news is, yeah. No,
I I've had a couple of like really cute ones. I had a guy, he wanted me to wish his 7-year-old daughter good luck on her first day of first grade.
Oh.
He said that she's a huge GWAR fan. He sent me a picture of her on his shoulder, like with earplugs in and goggles on at a GWAR show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a weird thing to begin with. We see a lot of little kids at GWAR shows, and we're like, don't know how to feel about that.
I can understand
because there's some stuff, and our singer even will say shit now because he's just like, it bothers me. But he'll say, after some horrible sexual thing goes on stage, he'll go, kids, that's not what a vagina really looks like. And then you'll see parents they'll have their kids, and then they'll know what's about to happen, and they'll turn their kids' face away. But these kids are all smiling and laughing. I mean, it'd be different if they were terrified. It's not like
they get
Santa
it.
Claus.
Yeah,
it's not like we're Santa Claus. The kids screaming. And there's another story. I played Santa Claus at a mall for 2 years in a row.
Oh.
We'll get to that later.
Wow.
But so this little girl, I did a cameo as Beefcake, wishing her, good luck. And her dad said she had a sign on her door. It was like a GWAR poster or something, and it was to keep out bad monsters and bad guys. And so I did this little cameo, and he sends me a video of her reaction watching it the first time.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, she's all smiling, got one tooth missing. It was adorable.
Oh,
so,
man.
we do it for the kids, But no, the
little
cameo
kids,
thing's
big
fun.
kids, we're all kids. I think it's
cameo
safe
thing's
to say that GWAR fans are all kids. It doesn't matter what age they are. We're all, like you said, living in that state of arrested development. Anyone who's going to willingly go to a show knowing that their clothes are probably just going to have to be thrown away at the end of the night, and then we'll go back again, then clearly that person is not a rational adult. So.
Well, people are always asking, hey, you meet a lot of hot girls on the road, and like, you have to question girls that have this fetish love for something that looks like we do.
That's a lot of red
flags. I want to
flags.
ask some questions first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if that's what she's into, and then she wants to come on the bus.
But although, I mean, I've met a few nice ladies.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, they're listening, so they were offended until you said that. They were like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
A very few.
So, so you were actually sent. We can see your helmet back there. Good Lord, that thing.
Oh, let me just zip that up.
Oh, hey now. So you've got the costume, so you can put it on. How I gotta ask, man, especially when it's just you at your house. How fucking long does that thing take to put on? And how long can you wear it before you're like, I gotta fucking take this off, or I'm just gonna collapse? Because you were mentioning to me earlier that it was made for your predecessor, who was a much bigger dude. Or is this a different costume?
It's always been a variation of the same one.
Okay.
Like, when I joined, I literally just wore Mike Bishop, the original Beefcake, who's now Blothar, the singer of GWAR.
Right.
I just basically, we rehearsed. I tried the costume on; it seemed to fit. Took it back off. Rehearsed, and then I went out and did a show with his old costume on. And I didn't think anything of it until I started sweating. And then it reconstituted all of its funk in the helmet. And 3 songs in, I look down and there's a puddle of like black water, and I can see it dripping off me. It's just this black filth that's reconstituting from his head. And it was just, oh man, as soon as that show was over, I threw the helmet down and pointed to the artist guys, and I was like, fucking thing's got to go. It's got to get fixed. I need new foam in there. So this fumigated something, because that it's like dripping up. Oh, terrible. But what I have here is, I'm not exactly sure whose version of the costume it was, because they would just sort of replace the same thing and maybe do something different on the inside. This one looks like one of mine, but it seems like it was, the head wasn't right, and the shoulder pads were kind of bigger and bulkier. So I'm pretty sure those were Todd Evans. They'll give you the layout. There's been 4 of us.
Yeah.
There was Mike Bishop, then me.
Right.
Then Mike Bishop, then me. Then Todd Evans, then me. Then Todd Evans, then me, then Jameson Land, and then me. Yeah. So I'm beefcake number 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. I've joined GWAR 5 times.
2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Holy crap! Well,
yeah.
that says it all, man. I love that.
You know how many? I want to know. Is that a record for people that have rejoined the same band?
Man, it's got to be. It's got to be.
And come back.
It has to be.
So there's been 4 of us. There's been 10 different spots.
Yeah.
And I'm 5 of them.
Yeah.
But it's cool now because I'm playing in the band with the original bass player who,
yeah.
I think is one of the greatest unsung bass players in rock
best
and
of both
roll.
worlds right there.
And he's a great singer and a great guy. So, I'm really stoked to be back in GWAR. You know, it's different than it was before in some way. We lost Brocky, we lost Corey,
yeah.
And so, 2 guys that I love dearly are not in the band, but, I can tell you this. So, there's a lot of people that are, were reluctant to give the last GWAR album a chance, or come see them because no Brocky, no GWAR.
Sure.
And all this shit. And I understand that. But the last thing in the world Brocky would want is for this thing that he spent 30 years of his life building and creating with other people. I mean, this is a true...
Yeah, he didn't create it to be about him.
Art.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't create it by himself.
Yeah, but it was created as a collective.
Absolutely. It's
the community aspect of it there. That's...
GWAR truly is an art communal art group.
Yeah.
With a band in it.
Yes.
The band is part of it, but the art. And there are times when I've been band guy and sort of dismissive of the artists and stuff, and there have been times when I've stood back and looked and thought, man, these guys are incredible artists and they don't get near the respect, and things kind of change. Like every time I've left the band and come back, something's different. There's somebody's taking charge of this department or that department, and the art has gotten gone this way or that way, and other outside artists have slowly been brought in to do album covers or posters or this and that. So, and that was one of the things that I loved the most about GWAR in the early days is there were so many artists involved. You had Hunter Jackson and Scott Krall and Chuck Varga and Don Draculich and Dave Brocky and Matt McGuire and Bob Gorman and all of those guys brought their artistic eye to the situation. And over the years, a lot of those guys are gone, and it's an incredible thing. Just GWAR, just being witnessing these guys work and what they do with no budget. There's no major label money. There's no corporation that gives GWAR money. It's all, we get money from shows and merch, tickets and T-shirts. We don't sell a lot of albums. And even if you do sell a lot of albums, you don't make a lot of money off selling albums unless you breach that, million albums threshold or something, which GWAR doesn't. We're top of we're like the scum on top of the underground. Everybody knows who we are, but we're not, we're not invited on, Dance Party USA. Or
like you were talking about the how underappreciated those guys are. If you took a big label band, it was on a major label, and they saw a GWAR show, and then went to an art director, their art director, whoever was in charge of doing their sets and design, and said, "We want something like this. How much will that cost?" Any of your crew who heard it would laugh it probably until they died, because it would
they would be told it would cost millions of dollars.
Whereas we do it for hundreds.
Our guys drive around the city looking for old couches to steal the foam from.
Yeah, exactly. The right
fumigate
way.
it, kill the crabs on the shit, cut it up, slap some latex on it. But literally that's what GWAR used to do. You drive around and find foam and trash and build it into this stuff. These days they've progressed, a lot. They do a lot of stuff now that's way more advanced than it ever was before.
Yeah.
The very early days of GWAR, paper mache and little bits of metal and leather and your mom's pantyhose and shit, you know? I mean, if you look at early pictures of GWAR, I mean, it's just whatever they could find, you know? And over the years, they've gotten better and better. And the GWAR stuff, you know, part of this, the big kind of silly, bulbousy look of a lot of this shit was because the stuff had to be really thick and strong, because you take it off, it doesn't dry out, you throw it in a trunk, you know, and then you see it in the next pound. And, you know, nowadays they've stepped up, and we each have little wardrobe cases that have, you know, a couple of vents on them, just on a metal vent, and it makes a world of difference, you know. So you can put all your individual stuff in there. It actually dries out for the most part overnight. It doesn't. I remember the first time after they got these cases, I came to see them backstage in Dallas. And I walked in the room where all the costumes are already out of the cases and everything. I looked around. I was like,
"Where's the smell?
Where the fuck's that smell?" You know, it doesn't smell like it's supposed to smell. And they're like, "It's these cases." So that's another one of the things that changed when I was gone that I get to benefit from when I come back.
That's
so awesome. It's really good me leaving, because I leave, something gets better, and then I come back and take advantage of that situation.
That's the best. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, that's perfect. You come back and they fix the problem. Leave? Yeah. They've already fixed the problem. Man, I love that. Dude, I could talk to you all day, and we could just keep going and going. We're just going to have you back on next season. It's just as simple as that, and we'll tell more stories. And by that point, hopefully you'll have some fun behind the stories of some of the GWAR YouTube shows, or maybe you'll have something else to tell us from X-Cops, or who knows what might happen. But for everybody at home, jump over there to CaseyOrr.com, and if you, like I said before, and for the Art of Orr, there you go, theartofOrr.com. There it is.
Yeah, if you go to the artofOrr.com, don't go to CaseyOrr.com.
Don't go to that one.
Because if you go there, I think you'll go to the website of a photographer, lady named Casey Orr, who is married to one of the guys from Chumbawamba.
What?
She contacted me years ago because she was getting emails that were meant for me from fans.
Right.
She actually came through Texas, and we got together, and she took pictures of, you know, things in my life, and did a thing on her website years ago comparing, like, our cars, our favorite chairs, our moms.
That's so cool. So cool.
But she was really cool.
Okay, so, artofOrr.com. Check out the book.
TheartofOrr.com.
Get yourself a cool print, and if you have a YouTube channel, definitely get yourself a print right now, because it's the talk of the comments anytime you hang one up.
It's my best-selling print, believe it or not.
Really? I'm not surprised. I got that one, and I got the Bat Boy from the cover of the Weekly World News or whatever.
Yeah, man, I got shirts and pens, and I'm always up for commissions and, you know, whatever else. Album cover, you know, whatever.
I love it.
But you can find me on Instagram.
Instagram. Yes.
Find me Casey Orr on Instagram, The Art of Orr on Instagram.
And then we got the Patreon.
And Beefcake the Mighty on Instagram.
Beefcake the Mighty is going to have a good set of photos, I have a feeling. And like I said before, if you know a GWAR fan, well, jump over on Cameo, man. That's the coolest gift. I've been just kind of like stalking and very secretly watching people on Cameo to see who's there, find out who's there, and then I'm trying to time it up right so there's someone on Cameo that's timed perfectly for a birthday for someone I know, and then I can do that, because there's some really funny people on there. And then there's like Carol Baskin. I'm not joking. Carol Baskin is on Cameo. You can pay and get a video message from her.
I bet she's probably doing pretty good too.
Oh, I bet she is.
Because everybody knows somebody that hates her. So how funny is that to get her to do a cameo for somebody that hates her? You know.
That was my thought immediately.
I've had weird requests, and so, the band Municipal Waste, friends of ours from Virginia, they got Gilbert Gottfried to do like a big blow up promo for their new album a while back.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "This is the greatest album I've never heard in my life." You know.
I love it.
So I've had a couple of people that have hit me up, and I'm like, okay, this is obviously they're going to use this for promotion. So I kind of make sure I don't want to promote, you know, some fucking, you know, Nazi bullshit or something. I had a company that does hand sanitizer, and I was like, so I went on the website and I was like, ingredients, everything, you know, great website, it was all cool. you know, and so yeah, whatever. So I did it, and they sent me a bunch of free shit. So, all right, but you know, I got to be careful.
Yeah, you do these days. You got to be careful for sure.
Yeah, you know, do a $40 cameo for somebody's sell their product. That doesn't sound like a good deal for me. But if they give me some free shit,
Oh man, Casey, thanks again so much.
Yeah, Josh, cheers, man.
We will jump back and talk to you. You stay safe out there in Texas. And yeah, man. All right. Thanks again.
Yeah,
for
you
coming.
too, man. Everybody, do what you got to do. Take care of your shit. I'm in the live event business, and we're going to be the last to come back because of the big crowd. So if you got to wear a mask, wear your fucking mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, fucking stay in the house. You do what you got to do. It sucks. Nobody likes it, but just deal with it. Just get rid of this shit.
There it is. Good
advice. Back to work.
Good advice. Yeah,
Vote.
we do want to see shows as soon as is safe, and that God, it's going to take forever. I'm a sound man by trade, so yeah.
Right. I work for an audio company here, and so everything dried up. No more shows. No more driving the truck. No more dropping off gear.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Well, you stay safe out there.
So go to Patreon and
jump on
brother
Patreon and help a man out. And
now that I'm sort of figuring out this video stuff, I'm going to be doing some stuff. I think I'm going to do some videos of Beefcake working on his miniatures and maybe some bass stuff and whatever, and start throwing some cool stuff up on the Patreon just for exclusive content.
As a bass player, I'd love to see bass walkthroughs. I've seen a couple of bass players do that now that they've kind of just have time and they're sitting around in their house. I would love to see just bass walkthroughs because nobody ever plays it right except the person who knows how to play it. So.
I'm relearning some songs right now and I'm stopping and going, I don't remember us playing that way, and it's weird about it when a band gets together, or you don't get together for 6 months or a year or whatever, and you come back for a week of rehearsals before going on the road, you tend to learn songs a little bit different than you played them last time, and nobody notices. And maybe halfway through a tour, you go, "That's the wrong note, guy," but nobody notices. But that's cool. That's beauty of music is it's alive and it always works. But I am in the process of relearning and working through a bunch of songs. So I'm going to start filming this stuff, and then. Anything looks good and comes out sounding good and looking good, I may start putting it up.
Oh, man, I love it. Okay, well, thanks again. I'll let you get back to it. Check your mailbox for some miniatures soon. If you have some specific requests, you just let me know because I can make just about anything.
Cool, man.
All right, man. And
all right, Josh, thanks a lot, bro.
Dude, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
All right, man.
All right, man. Bye.
Take it easy, everybody.
You too. Push all the buttons, and I think we're good. And we're back. Hey, that was Casey Orr. What a nice guy. He was so nice. And you heard it. He's going to set us up an interview with Beefcake the Mighty. Beefcake the Mighty himself will be on the show to talk bass lines probably. I'll probably just not be able to help myself, and we'll talk bass gear and bass amps and favorite basses and crap like that. So if you're a bass player, that one will be good. For everybody else, pretend you like bass players. What can I say? Well, Wyatt, it's been going over an hour. That interview ran a little long because I just couldn't shut up. Sometimes I watch these interviews back and I'm like, shut up, Josh, shut up, just shut up. But I can't. He was like, I could just wind him up and he would just keep talking and keep telling awesome stories. And so how do you not let a guy tell awesome stories? How? Now, like I said, I've got like another 20 minutes of pre-interview that I'm going to post a link to on our Patreon page. So if you want to check that out, head over to patreon.com/spookytalkshow and sign up for $1. And I'll post that up probably within the next couple of days. So there you go. Now, if there's other guys that you want to see me interview, hey, let me know because I want to know. And I want to get them on the show. So you can post a comment here because I always read the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button too. And it makes me feel good if you hit the like button. And I know Casey's going to be watching this video. And he's going to want to see how many likes there are. So come on. Show him that you like the video and click a like on there. And then hit the subscribe button for me. That's for me. And yeah, and then head on to our Patreon page, or you can go to our blah, 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 and all that blah, blah, blah. And Wyatt, you want to know who's coming up next week?
Who's coming up next week?
I have no idea.
They're going to be so good. I can't wait.
It's going to be so good. It's going to be hard to top Casey's stories. It's also really going to be hard to top his background. Morgan, if you're watching, dude, you had the best Zoom background, but I don't think you do anymore. I think Casey beat you, man, but that's okay. That's all right. We'll have Madman Morgan on the program, and maybe Madman Morgan will have an even more impressive backline. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, what good stories, man. I got to tell you, I talked to Casey for probably another hour after the interview ended. We talked Hagfish, and we talked about Zach from Hagfish just getting his guitar stolen, and then we talked about Green Jello. I have a really interesting personal Green Jello story where we were almost Green Jello for a night, and wouldn't you know it, Casey had a really similar story, and then he had an even bigger, crazier, wilder Green Jello story that I wish I'd been hitting record on. I missed that. That's my bad. So, sorry. Okay, well, that's it. Come back next week, and we'll have something, by God, right? Right? We'll have something. We'll have somebody. I don't know. Something. All right. We'll find out together on the next episode, a spooky talk show. Applause. And then laughs. And then boos. And then a rim shot. Hey, piss off.